The crack of a rifle shot split the desert air, and Elias Kane hit the dirt behind a sun-bleached boulder, his horse's dying scream echoing like a judgment from hell. Blood pounded in his ears as he clawed for his revolver, the dry wind whipping sand into his eyes. 20 yards off, 3 riders crested the ridge, their bandanas stained red with bandit dust, guns already barking death. Before we ride into tonight's story, take a moment to like this tale, subscribe for more epic Old West stories, and share it with someone who loves a good frontier legend. And tell me in the comments, where are you listening from tonight? Now, settle in. Our story begins. Elias rolled, tasting grit and copper, his fingers closing around the worn, walnut grip of his peacemaker. He'd been riding hard for 2 days straight, chasing whispers of work in the silver towns beyond the Badlands. But survival in this forsaken stretch of the frontier meant reading the land like a Bible. The boulder wouldn't hold. Bullets chipped stone inches from his boot. He fired blind twice, the reports thunderous in the still heat, then scrambled low toward a gully carved by flash floods long past. One rider toppled from his saddle, clutching his shoulder with a howl that carried over the wind. The other 2 veered, horses kicking up horns of dust, closing the gap with whoops that chilled Elias deeper than any winter night. He knew their kind, Comancheros maybe, or worse, the remnants of the Devil's Hand gang spilling over from the territories. No quarter asked, none given. His horse lay twitching, its flank a ruin of red froth. He was on foot now, pack light, but life lighter still. Dropping into the gully, Elias pressed against cracked earth, breath ragged. The sun hammered down like God's own forge, turning the world to a shimmering haze. He had lost his mount, his water skin half empty and slung over the dead beast's saddle. Survival whispered, "Run, hide, outlast." But running meant the open desert, a graveyard for fools. He scanned the horizon, jagged mesas to the north, a faint thread of green hinting at water to the west. And there, mirage or mercy, a thin plume of smoke rising like a beckoning finger. The rider's hoofbeats drummed closer. Elias holstered his gun, snatched up a loose spur from his belt, and scratched a false trail in the dust leading away from the gully. Then he backtracked, silent as a shadow, belly crawling toward the boulder. One bandit dismounted, rifle raised, tracking the spur marks. Elias waited, heart a war drum, until the man was 10 paces off, lunged like a rattler, tackling him into the dirt. They grappled fierce, the bandit's knife flashing sunward. Elias drove an elbow into the man's throat, heard the wet choke, then smashed the spur's rowel into his eye socket. The bandit spasmed, went limp. Elias ripped the knife free, plunged it home to be sure. No time for mercy. Survival was a jealous god. The other rider wheeled his horse, firing wild. Elias bolted for the dead mount, vaulted into the saddle amid a hail of lead, and spurred the dying beast westward. Bullets whined past, one grazing his hat brim. The horse faltered after 100 yards, collapsing in a heap. Elias tumbled free, rolling into creosote brush as the rider bore down, pistol leveled. A final shot from Elias' peacemaker dropped the man clean from his saddle, horse bolting riderless into the haze. Elias staggered up, lungs burning, and limped to the fallen bandit. He stripped the body quick, freshwater skin, jerky, a Henry repeater with half a tube of shells. The man's horse grazed nearby, skittish but unbroken. Elias mounted, survival's ledger balanced for now, one life traded for his own. By dusk, the smoke plume resolved into ramshackle rooftops clinging to a dry riverbed. Black Gulch, a lawless speck on no map worth printing. Tents and adobe hovels huddled around a main drag baked hard as iron, flanked by a livery, mercantile, in the inevitable saloon. Its sign swinging crooked. Last chance. Dust devils dance the street, carrying the stink of unwashed men, horse dung, and spilled rot gut. Elias tied off his new mount, shoulders knotted from the day's hell, and stepped into the fray. Eyes tracked him from boardwalks and shadowed doorways, miners with picks slung like crucifixes, whores in threadbare calico, a blacksmith hammering iron with rhythmic spite. No welcome, just the frontier's wary calculus. Stranger equals threat. Elias kept his hat low, duster flapping open to show the peacemaker, and pushed through the bat-wing doors of the last chance. Inside, the air hung thick with tobacco haze and sour mash, lanterns casting long shadows over scarred tables where card sharps dealt faro with sleight-of-hand prayers. A piano plinked a mournful tune, undercut by low growls of argument. At the bar, a barkeep with a face like chewed leather poured whiskey from a jug that had seen better decades. "Stranger," the barkeep grunted, ice sliding a tin cup Elias hadn't asked for. "That'll be 2 bits." Elias dropped the coins, sipped the firewater. Survival meant intel first. "Riding through. Heard Black Gulch needs hands for the claims up canyon." The barkeep snorted, wiping a rag that spread more grime. "Claims? Silver's played out, friend. What Black Gulch needs is men who don't ask questions. You look like you got stories. Spill one. Maybe I spill where the real pay lies." Before Elias could answer, a shadow loomed beside him, a big man in a tin star, dulled by neglect. Gut straining his vest, eyes mean as a cornered coyote. Sheriff Harlan Voss, if the whispers, drifting from the tables, held true. Flanked by 2 deputies, both pockmarked and trigger-happy, Voss clapped a meaty hand on Elias's shoulder. "Stories, eh? This town's got plenty. Like the one about the drifter who rode in last week, thought he could prospect free. Found hisself planted out back come mornin'." Voss' breath reeked of tobacco juice. "Name's Voss. I keep the peace here. You got business, state it plain. Elsewise, mount up and fade." Elias met the gaze steady. Survival's first lesson. Show no fear, but no fight unneeded. "Name's Kane. Lost my horse to bandits eastways. Looking for honest work, Sheriff. Ain't here to stir mud." Voss chuckled, a sound like gravel under boots. "Honest? In Black Gulch? Boy, the only honest man's the one pushin' up sage. But you got grit, riding in alone. Tell you what, join the game over yonder. Win a handoff Rattler Jack, and maybe I forget to check your poke for stolen dust." The saloon fell hushed, all eyes on the table where a lean ferret of a man, Rattler Jack, shuffled cards with fingers like spider legs, known cheat by the murmurs, but under Voss's wing. Refuse, and Elias painted himself prey. Play and survival hung on luck and lies. Elias nodded slow, slid into the chair. "Deal me in." The game stretched into the night, tension coiling like a hangman's noose. Rattler Jack's eyes gleamed predatory, dealing 5-card draw with a wink that screamed marked deck. Elias's hand. Pair of trays, nothing to bet the farm on, but survival wasn't folding. It was reading the table. The deputies' smirks, Voss nursing whiskey at the bar, the crowd's hungry silence. He raised, tossing coins that clinked like accusations. Jack matched, grinning yellow teeth. "Big talk for a dust monkey. Call." Elias stared him down. "Survival's in the bluff, Jack." I raise all in," gasps rippled. Jack laughed, but sweat beaded his brow. He called, flipping his cards, "Full house, queens over 8s. Triumph flared. Then Elias laid down his trays. "Bluff wins. Liar." He'd palmed a queen in the deal shadow, a trick learned from riverboat ghosts. The saloon erupted. Some cheers, more curses. Jack lunged, knife out, But Elias's peacemaker kissed his forehead first. "Sit!" Voss stormed over, face thunder. "Cheats a hangin' a fence, Kane. But I like your sand. Pot's yours. 300 in dust. Work for me tomorrow. Dawn patrol up canyon. Trouble brewin' with the McCoy boys raidin' stages. Prove your mettle, and Black Gulch might keep you breathin'." Elias pocketed the winnings, survival's wage bitter as gall. Voss wasn't offering alliance. It was leash or grave. He nodded, stepped into the cooling night, the saloon's din fading behind. His new horse nickered soft at the hitch, but as he checked the girth, a whisper slithered from the alley. "Sheriff don't share power, stranger. Ride out 'fore dawn, or join the ghosts." Elias spun, gun half drawn, but shadows swallowed the voice. Friend or foe? Black Gulch's welcome was poison, and Voss's job reeked of trap. He bedded down in the livery loft, repeater close, ears straining for hoofbeats. Dawn broke bloody, painting the gulch in crimson. Elias saddled up, Voss and deputies waiting in the street like crows on a wire. Canyon Trail, Kane. McCoy's hit last stage. Body's cold. You ride scout. They mounted out, dust plume marking their wake. The canyon twisted narrow, walls sheer as sin, scrub oak, clawing at sunlight. Elias led, senses screaming ambush. Half a mile in, the trap sprung. Rocks tumbled, gunfire cracked from ledges above. Bullets ricocheted. Voss's deputy screamed as lead tore his chest. Elias dove behind a boulder, returning fire, dropping one shadow. Voss bellowed orders, but chaos reigned. McCoys, ragged and ruthless, pouring shot. Elias spotted their leader, a scarred giant bellowing war cries, pistol blazing. Survival demanded the impossible. Flank alone or die pinned. He slipped into a side crevice, climbing silent amid the din. Heart hammering, he crested the ledge, knife ready. The giant turned too late. Elias drove steel into his throat, silencing the roar. The McCoys faltered, Voss's men rallying below, but as Elias descended, slick with blood not his own, Voss fixed him with eyes like slits. "Neat work, Kane. Saved our hides. But that whisper last night, heard it too. Someone in town's paintin' targets on newcomers. Question is, you the hunter or the bait?" Elias wiped his blade, survival's edge honed sharper. Voss knew more than he let on, and Black Gulch's rot ran deep. Ride with the devil or carve his own path? Before he could answer, a rider crested the canyon rim. Tin star gleaming, but not Voss's. A woman, rifle slung, voice cutting the dust. "Sheriff Voss, word from town. Outlaws hit the bank at first light. Your brother's dead, and they're comin' for you next." Voss' face drained white. Elias gripped his reins tighter. Survival just got bloodier. The woman's rifle snapped skyward as another boulder crashed down the canyon wall, narrowly missing Voss's horse and sending the sheriff's mount rearing in panic. Elias Kane spurred forward amid the fresh hail of debris. Survival's instinct overriding shock. This new rider, Marshal Lena Crow by her silver badge, had just lit the fuse on Black Gulch's powder keg, and the echo of her words hung like gunsmoke. Voss's brother dead. Outlaws closing in. Dust choked the air as Elias yanked his reins, dodging a ricocheting slug that sparked off stone inches from his knee. Voss bellowed curses, deputies firing wild into the haze above, but the ambushers, McCoy remnants or worse, had melted into the cliffs like phantoms. Lena Crow wheeled her bay gelding beside Elias, her face weathered sharp under a wide-brim hat, eyes blue as gun steel. "You, Kane? Town's buzzing you rode with Voss. If you're smart, cut loose now. This snake pit's about to boil over." Elias covered her flank with a shot from his Henry, dropping a shadow that tumbled, screaming into the gorge. "Smart's kept me alive this long, Marshal. But Banks hit, you say? Who's calling the play? She nodded grim, reloading with practiced flicks. Voss's kin ran the vault, greasy sort, skimmed every deposit. Outlaws knew the safe's weak side. Rode in bold as brass, left him gut shot in the street. They're holed up in the hills, waitin' for Voss to chase. Voss charged past then, face twisted in rage, deputies trailing like whipped dogs. The canyon mouth loomed ahead, salvation or slaughter. They burst onto the flats under a sky turning anvil gray with storm promise. Black Gulch sprawled below, smoke curling from rooftops, the main drag alive with frantic townsfolk barricading doors. Elias scanned for threats. Survival meant seeing the blade before it fell. Voss reined up hard, spitting orders. "Crow! You got no jurisdiction here. This town's mine. Kane, you proved yesterday. Back me now, or I'll pin the bank job on you." Lena's laugh cut cold. "Jurisdiction? Your star's tarnished, Voss. Governor sent me when stages stopped running. Brother's blood's on your hands, too. Word is, you looked the other way on his scams." Tension crackled, thicker than heat lightning. Deputies shifted uneasy, hands hovering near holsters. Elias stayed mounted, neutral ground. Survival wasn't picking sides blind. It was weighing the scales. Voss ruled Black Gulch through fear and graft, but Lena brought law's weight, fragile as it was out here. "Talk later," he growled. "Riders comin' from the east. Bank robbers. By the dust." 6 hard cases thundered into view, bandanas high, saddlebags bulging with pilfered coin. Lead flew instant by townsfolk, scattering like quail. Elias snapped off shots, unhorsing one, while Lena's rifle barked precise, another toppling. Voss charged reckless, revolver blazing, but a slug caught his deputy's horse. The man crushed screaming under its fall. The outlaws veered for the saloon, guns emptying into windows. Elias and Lena pursued, survival forging a hasty pact. They dismounted in the street, using water troughs for cover. "Flank left!" Lena shouted, crashing through the mercantile's rear door amid shattering glass. Inside the last chance, chaos reigned. Overturned tables, shattered bottles, card sharps crawling for exits. Rattler Jack cowered behind the bar, whimpering. The outlaws had the bartender hostage, pistol to his temple. "Back off, or he eats lead," their leader snarled. A wiry devil named Slade, scar bisecting his lip like a perpetual sneer. Elias kicked in the side door. Henry leveled. "Drop it, Slade. Survival's walking away alive." Slade's eyes flicked. Greed versus fear. Voss burst through the front, deputies gone silent outside. Standoff stretched taut. Slade spat. "Voss, you double-crossing dog. Your brother owed us for the last haul. Paid with his life." Voss sneered, but sweat betrayed him. Lena slipped in silent behind. Rifle prod to Slade's neck. The outlaws froze, one twitched, and Elias's shot took his gun hand clean. Sacks of coin thudded to the floorboards. Voss snatched one. Eyes feral. "Mine by rights!" But Lena's voice iced the room. "Federal now! Hands up, all of ya!" Slade lunged desperate, knife flashing toward her. Elias tackled him mid-air, the pair crashing through a table in a tangle of fists and fury. Slade's blade nicked Elias's ribs. Hot pain blooming, but survival surged. Knee to the gut, elbow to jaw. Slade stilled, bloodied. Voss watched hungry, like a wolf eyeing scraps. Townsfolk poured in. Cheers mixed with mutters. Voss's grip slipping. Outside, storm clouds boiled, first fat drops hissing on dust. Lena bound the prisoners, turning to Elias. "You fight clean, Kane. Voss'll turn on you soon." Saw it in his eyes. "Stick with me. We'll clean this nest." Elias bound his wound with a bar rag, survival's cost mounting. Voss clapped his shoulder too hard. "Good work, Drifter. But Crow's trouble. Tonight, my office. Debrief. Bring the Henry. Dusk fell heavy, rain lashing Black Gulch into mud rivers. Elias holed up in the livery, cleaning his guns by lantern light. The whisperer from last night echoed, "Ride out," but 300 dust from the pot, plus bank shares if Lena prevailed, tempted. Voss's debrief smelled of ambush. Midnight struck wet on the saloon clock when hoofbeats splashed the street. Elias peered out. Voss, 2 new deputies, strangers, armed heavy, heading his way. No time to mount. He slipped into the shadows behind the forge, rain masking his trail. They searched the livery rough, overturning hay bales. "Kane's rabbitin'," one growled. Voss replied chilled. "Find him dead or alive. Boy knows too much about the canyon play. And my brother's cut." Elias ghosted through alleys, mud sucking at boots, toward Lena's camp on the gulch's edge. A lone tent by a flickering campfire, her horse tethered. She startled at his approach, rifle half raised. "Kane, what's the play?" "Voss hunts me. Your warning was right. He's rotten core deep." He spilled it all, the marked cards, in canyon setup where Voss let deputies die to claim glory, brother's graft. Lena's face hardened. "Knew it. He's been selling Black Gulch to the highest bidder. Outlaws, claim jumpers. Governor's writ gives me authority, but I need proof. That Henry you took yesterday, McCoy leaders, got notches matching stagecoach hits. Voss wants it quiet." Lightning cracked, illuminating her resolve. Survival aligned. Ally with her. Unearth Voss's web. "Dawn raid his office," she said. "You and me." But as they planned by fireglow, a scream pierced the storm. From the saloon. Elias bolted, Lena covering. They burst into carnage. Rattler Jack gutted on the floor, Voss's new deputies riddled with buckshot, and Voss himself slumped against the bar, clutching a gut wound, whispering blood. "Slayed. Broke free. Said you turned him, Kane. Ooh, traitor's mark on ya, now." Voss gasped flat. Lena knelt, rifling his pockets, ledgers, stained with mud and secrets. Bank cuts to outlaws. He's the head snake. But outside, silhouettes moved in the rain, Slade's men, freed somehow, torches flaring, and leading them, a figure in a familiar duster. Elias' blood froze. His horse, stolen from the livery, saddled and fleeing into the night, framed. Voss's dying words rang true in the worst way. Someone had played him for bait. But who? Lena or Voss's ghost? As bullets chewed the saloon walls, Elias raised his gun. Survival demanding answers amid the lead storm. The lead rider unmasked in torchlight, and Elias's world shattered. Torchlight danced on the unmasked rider's face. A ghost from Elias Kane's past. Jed Harlan, brother to the sheriff, not dead, but very much alive. Gut wound, faked with pig's blood, eyes burning with betrayal's fire. Elias Peacemaker bucked in the rain-lashed saloon, the shot shattering glass in Jed's shoulder, but the man spurred away howling, his outlaw pack scattering into the mud-churned night as Lena Crow's rifle thundered support. Elias charged the doorway, survival's rage boiling hotter than the storm. "Jed Harlan, you snake, thought you were planted." The figure vanished into gulch shadows, hoofbeats fading under thunder. Lena grabbed his arm, pulling him back as fresh lead splintered the batwings. "Inside. Kane, he's baitin' us." Voss's kin, runnin' the bank scam from the grave's shadow. They barricaded with overturned tables, rain drumming the roof like war drums. Slade's freed men, 6 hardened killers, circled. Flames licking porch supports. Black Gulch burned in patches. Flames hissing steam from puddles, screams piercing the gale. Elias reloaded, ribs throbbing from the earlier knife kiss. Jed set the bank hit to flush Voss, then pinned it on me. Survival's family here. Blood debt's thicker than law. Lena nodded grim, blue eyes fierce. Ledgers prove it. Voss and Jed split the take, McCoy's their muscle. Jed faked death to vanish with the haul. You're witness now. Ride with me to Tombstone Wire. Testify. But testimony meant exposure. Pauses on his trail for old sins. Survival whispered flee alone. Yet her grit mirrored his own buried honor. Outlaws rushed the doors, axes biting wood. Elias kicked a lantern into a whiskey puddle. Flames whooshed, buying seconds. They vaulted through a rear window into the alley, mud sucking boots, lightning etching their path. Lena's horse waited. Elias whistled his stolen mount nowhere in sight. "Double up!" she urged, him behind her saddle. They galloped into the storm, bullets whining past. The gulch twisted wild, canyon walls funneling wind to gale force. Slade's gang pursued relentless, torches bobbing like will-o'-the-wisps. Elias twisted, Henry barking, unhorsing too. But numbers pressed, hooves closed, a slug creasing Lena's hat. "Fork left! Abandoned mine!" Elias shouted over roar. They plunged into black mouth. Horses sliding to halt amid timber props, groaning like dying men. Outlaws reined up outside, shots echoing cavernous. "Hole up, Kane! We got your woman! Come quiet!" Survival's calculus, fight outnumbered, or deeper into Earth's belly. Elias dismounted, flint sparking lantern from saddlebag. Tunnels branched rat maze, stale air thick with back guano and ghost whispers. "Worked these veins years back," he muttered. "Collapse trap set. Old foreman rigged 'em." Lena tethered horses, rifle ready. "Lead on!" They crept, echoes playing tricks, footfalls or pursuit. Tension coiled as a cave-in rumbled distant, screams cut short. Elias's map in head led to a shaft drop, rope ladder frayed but holding. They descended into deeper dark, lanterns casting monstrous shadows on glittering quartz veins, long picked clean. Bottom chamber, a natural cavern, pool fed by underground spring, glowworms pulsing faint blue. They hunkered, sipping sweet water, first clean taste in days. Lena peeled back her sleeve, revealing a tattoo, faded, cavalry insignia. Served with C Company, Apache Wars. Lost my troop to betrayal, like Voss kin. You? Elias stared into the pool, survival's mirror. Drifter since Shiloh. Brother died in my arms, bullet meant for me. Been running his ghost since. Black Gulch promised fresh start. Vulnerability hung, trust fragile as the ropes above. Dawn's gray filtered eventually, storm spent. Voices echoed topside, posse? They climbed cautious, emerging to carnage, Slade's men routed, Jed's trail cold. Black Gulch smoldered, townsfolk salvaging amid ash. At the livery, a boy handed Elias a note, scrawled hasty, "Meet midnight, Old Oak beyond town. Truth on Voss gold. Come alone. R. Rattler Jack?" The whisperer? Lena eyed it wary. "Trap." Elias folded it away. "Only way to end this. You rally the honest folk. Proof's in Jed's hands." Day dragged tense. Elias scouted, finding Voss's office ransacked. Ledgers gone, Jed's work. Whispers spread. Kane the killer, Crow the invader. Survival meant shadows. Come midnight, he rode slow to the ancient oak. Twisted sentinel on bluff overlook, moon silvering the desert sea. Rattler Jack waited, twitchy, poke heavy at his belt. "Kane, knew you'd come. Voss double-crossed me on cards. Jed took the ledgers, gold maps too. Split's mine!" Greed twisted his ferret face, but rustle in brush, ambush. Jed Harlan stepped out, bandaged, revolver steady, flanked by Slade's remnants. "Family reunion, brother," Jed sneered. "You killed Voss for his share. Now it's mine." Lies spun to paint Elias rogue. Jack spun to flee. Jed shot him dead, poked tumbling gold dust. Elias dove rolling, peacemaker roaring. Lead chewed earth, He winged one outlaw. Jed charged, knife out. Close quarters brawl, under branches, clawing like talons. Fists flew, blood slicking grips. "Survival's taken what's yours," Jed hissed. Blade grazing Elias's throat. Elias countered, headbutt cracking nose, then revolver butt to temple. Jed slumped, bound quick. Gold maps from Jack's corpse. Strikes hidden in canyons. Voss Empire's route. But as Elias stuffed them, hoofbeats. Lena, with a dozen armed miners, torches blazing. "Kane!" she called. Proof secured, but Jed stirred, spitting venom. "Maps are bait. My boys hit the train at dawn. Dynamite the pass. Take all comin'. You're leading 'em straight." Dawn crested bloody. Elias and Lena rode posse strong to the rail cut, maps guiding, smoke plumed ahead, outlaws rigging powder kegs on trestle. Stakes soared, train due with territorial guard, ammo for forts, one spark, hundreds dead. They charged, guns blazing. Elias flanked high, Henry chattering, dropping sappers. Lena led frontal, miners cheering. Dynamite fuses hissed. Elias slid down scree, smothering one barehanded, skin searing. Jed's last men fell, but the leader escaped into Box Canyon, laughing mad. Posse secured the pass, train whistling thanks. Lena clasped Elias's burned hand. "Survived the night. Gold's ours. Claim it clean." But horizon smoked anew. Jed rallying, territorial, Rip be damned. Black Gulch called back, unfinished. As they turned, a sniper's crack split air. Lena jerked, blood blooming on her chest. Elias whirled, gun-seeking source, but the shot's echo carried a deeper riddle. Friend or phantom? Lena Crow slumped from her saddle, blood soaking her shirt as the sniper's echo died in the canyon wind, leaving Elias Kane alone on the bloodied trestle with the posse frozen in shock. Survival's cruelest cut. Ally felled by a phantom shot from the Box Canyon's jagged throat. Elias caught her, easing her down amid iron rails humming from the passing train's ghost wake. "Hold, Marshal. Pressure here." Her blue eyes fluttered, hand clutching his burned one. "Jed, sniper's his. Get the bastard Kane. Justice or survival." She gasped. Posse miners rushing with rags and whiskey for poultice. Elias nodded grim, survival, demanding he honor the bond forged in storm and shadow. He mounted swift, Henry repeater slung, maps burning in his pocket, Jed's bolt hole marked clear. Devil's Notch, a sheer-walled dead end where outlaws vanished payrolls. Posse shouted pursuit, but Elias waved them back. "Guard her! This end's personal." Alone again, the drifter's creed, he spurred into the Box Canyon. Dust Plume, his only company under a sky clearing to merciless blue. The notch narrowed cruel, walls etched with ancient petroglyphs, watching like judges. Hoof prints, fresh in talus scree, led deeper. Elias dismounted at a cave mouth yawning black, echoes of dripping water mocking his pulse. Lantern sparked, he entered, air turning tomb chill. Tunnels branched, but maps guided. Gold vein tapped illegal. Voss's secret forge. Voices drifted. Jed Harlan, barking orders to remnants. Elias ghosted close, peering into a glowing chamber. Barrels of black powder stacked high, Jed bandaged but fierce, 3 gunmen rigging fuses to a massive charge. Blow the canyon rim, bury posse, and train tracks in avalanche. "Kane takes the fall," Jed snarled. "Sheriff's ghost pins it all. We ride rich to Mexico." Survival's fire lit Elias's veins. He stepped bold into light, peacemaker drawn. "Ghosts don't pay debts, Jed. Drop iron." Gunman whirled, a lead storm erupting. Elias dove behind powder kegs, shot splintering stone. He fired precise, 2 down, 3rd clutching gut. Jed lunged behind crates, rifle chipping Elias's cover. "You killed my kin for dust. Black Gulch is ours." Lies end here, Elias growled, rolling flank. Voss corrupt, you the blade. Lena bleeds for your rot. He snapped a shot, splintering Jed's rifle. Hand to hand now. The chamber a powder box inferno, waiting spark. Jed charged Farrell, knife gleaming. They collided thunderous, slamming into barrels that teetered ominous. Fists hammered ribs, boots kicked dust. Jed's blade scored Elias's arm, but survival surged. Headlock, choke, driving knee home. Jed wheezed. Survival's the strong, you drifter scum. Elias pinned him, boot on throat. Strong survives clean. Where's the gold? Jed spat defiance, eyes wild. Fuses hissed alive. His men had lit them desperate. Seconds to live or die, buried. Elias bound Jed swift, dragged him stumbling to tunnels. Explosions rocked behind, ceiling groaning, rocks cascading. They burst outside as the notch mouth collapsed in roar, sealing hell. Elias's horse waited, Jed thrown belly down, roped secure. Back to trestle by noon sun, posse cheered ragged. Lena sat propped, pale but fierce, wound stanched. Got him, Elias said, dumping Jed at her feet. Gold map's true. Veins struck. Jed laughed bloody. Too late, fools. Dynamite train cars below. Powder trail, lit when I fell. Horror dawned. Territorial ammo cars. Rigged to blow the line skyward. No time. Elias rallied miners, racing tracks. Smoke wisped from undercarriage half-mile off. They leaped aboard slowing train, prying panels. Fuses snaked to powder crates. Elias slashed one, sparks flying. Lena, weak but steady, doused another with canteen. Last fuse burned hot. Posse hands blistered, snuffing it. Train braked safe, guards piling out grateful. Jed dragged to makeshift gallows in Black Gulch Square. Townsfolk gathered grim. Voss's deputies surrendered, ledgers damning. Lena, bandaged heroic, read charges. Murder, robbery, treason to frontier peace. Jed sneered last. Survival's no rules, Kane. You'd have taken the cut. Elias met his gaze. Rules are what we make. Yours ended wrong. Noose tightened at dawn, snap echoing. Black Gulch breathed freer. Honest claims reopening. Lena appointed true sheriff. Elias pocketed modest dust share. Enough for fresh horse, endless trail. But as he saddled at livery, Lena approached, star-pinned proud. Ride with me, Kane? Justice needs grit like yours. Survival tempted road alone. Ghost quiet at last. Yet her eyes held promise. Partner against lawless wilds. Elias tipped hat. Maybe next town, Marshal. Frontier's long. He spurred west, dust settling. Black Gulch shrinking rearward. Every choice had cost blood, cunning, sacrifice. But he'd carved justice from chaos. Survival endured. Legend whispered on wind. Yet horizon shimmered heat haze. Riders cresting distant ridge. Devil's hand gang, eyes on new prize. Elias checked his peacemaker, smile grim. The lawless frontier never slept.